So this is the last part that we haven't gone over yet, but we have gone over it, but I haven't gone over it in my videos yet because I'm going to section this off as a separate thing. The biggest reason is I wasn't able to get to it when I made the original video, but now that I am able to get to it, we can go through it. So these are called summations. With summations, we have a particular formula. The particular formula is this. You take A1, okay, and then you do 1 minus r to the nth power. Make sure you always put the r in parentheses. This just gets you in a good habit of not messing up that way. All over 1 minus r in parentheses again, okay? So these are the three letters we need to find. We need to find A1, R, and N. R is actually pretty easy to find when it comes to this. We just look at the one thing being raised to the power of x. So in this case, this is negative 1/3. N is whatever's numbers on top of this summation symbol, all right, which is 6. And the last thing is my A1. My A1's the hardest to find when it comes to these types. So what A1 means is to replace the x with 1 and find out what answer you get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10. I'm going to take 10. We'll multiply by negative 1/3 to the power of 1. So if I take my little calculator, all right, and I put in this just as I see it, 10 times negative 1 divided by 3, that's how a fraction looks, to the power of 1, it gives me negative 0.3333 repeating. Or if I hit math, enter, and enter again, it gives me negative 10/3. So my A1 is negative 10/3. From this point, all you're doing is you're plugging in the stuff. So A1, so I'm going to put negative 10/3, 1 minus the r, which is negative 1 divided by 3, to the nth power, which is 6. That's all divided by, let me get the cord out of the way. That's all divided by 1 minus negative 1/3, okay? So we're going to put that exactly in our calculator as we see it. So we're going to start with negative 10 divided by 3, okay? And open parentheses, 1 minus, open the second parentheses, negative 1 divided by 3, close the parentheses, put that to the power of 6. Now you always have to press right, otherwise it's going to start putting everything else you put down on the calculator as an exponent. We don't want that. And then all of that is going to be divided by parentheses 1 minus, parentheses negative 1 divided by 3, close the parentheses and close the second parentheses, and press enter. So our answer, meaning that if we added everything up from A1 through A6, so if we did this whole thing for what we did for A1, we'd put a 2 there, 3 there, so on and so forth, till we get to 6, and we added all those numbers up, we'd end up with the answer negative 2.497, 496, which we're going to round to 50. So I'm just going to say it's about, the summation is about negative 2.50. Now, we also have some that look like this, all right? These are just as easy as the other ones. Well, actually, I'm going to do this one, this very first one, okay? These are actually just as easy, if not easier, okay? The reason why is because it gives us a lot of the information we already need. A1 is just the first thing in this whole line, so that'd be 7. My n, they already tell me, is 10. The only hard part is trying to figure out what my r is. Now remember, the r is a multiplier, so that's just figuring out what do we have to do to 7 to get to 14. Well, I know that 7 times 2 gives me 14, but what you'll notice is this 7 is positive, this one is negative. So to go from a positive number to a negative number, we had to make it a negative 2 instead. From here, we just plug it into the same formula we just used. A1 being 7, 1 minus r being negative 2, to the nth power, which is 10, close that, all divided by 1 minus negative 2. Okay? From there, we just put it in our calculator. So I'm just going to scooch this over. Sorry. So we're going to start with 7, parentheses 1 minus negative 2 to the 10th power. Whoops. Just did the same thing that I told you guys not to do. Divided by 1 minus parentheses negative 2, close the parentheses, press enter. So that means that if we figured out what the this process was from A1 through A10, that if we add them all up, we'd end up with the answer of negative 2, 3, 8, 7. So our answer here is negative 2, 3, 8, 7. That's it. That's how you do summations, both with the symbol and with the pattern.